attacks on law enforcement officers reached its bloodiest climax, with 55 policemen killed by the militants in Bama, a border town in Borno State. At least 15 soldiers and Air Force officers have lost their lives in clashes with the sect. However, the recent declaration of a state of emergency has sent Boko Haram on the run, while the U.S. government has also placed a bounty of $7 million on Shekau's head. Now, in its 10 days now since the Governors Forum election held in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, and the outcome, the emergence of two factions. The leader of one of the factions and Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, insists he has the mandate of the majority of his colleague governors and would not give it up for any reason. He also asked the federal authorities to explain to Nigerians who pasted his posters as aspirant for vice presidency of the country on the streets of Abuja.
People at the federal office tell us where these posters are coming from. I don't know where it's coming from. And I don't want to respond to those posters. They are mischief. Let me tell you, very soon you will stop seeing it. They decided bringing it out when they knew I wanted to run for chairmanship of Governors for my second time. So anytime they suspect, they try to sow a seed of discord amongst my colleagues, so that they will say, oh no, chairman has ambition to be president or vice president, and therefore so split the group and ensure that he does not run for chairmanship of the Governors Forum. It's just a political gimmick and causing confusion amongst the governors.
Any possibility of stepping down?
No. That is a mandate that is freely given, and I will stick to that mandate. I need just 3 supports. Okay, say 4. God first, Nigerian second, president, and the governors. And when you say president, it's because all of us know that he is the president of the country, and then you must be loyal to him.
Now, a bill seeking to simplify the process through which the President and Vice President of Nigeria can be impeached has passed the second reading in the House of Representatives. Following a thorough debate, the bill, which seeks to remove ambiguities and provide for a more transparent and democratic procedure for impeachment of the President on allegations of gross misconduct, passed despite spirited opposition by even most principal officers of the House. The bill also seeks to empower the lawmakers in the House of Representatives to initiate the impeachment process and investigate the allegations rather than the process determined solely by the Chief Justice of the Federation.
Impeachment is supposed to be a rigorous, painstaking, last resort. If we remove Section 143, the purport and the idea behind impeachment provision by the framers of the Constitution, although people have said we should refer to the framers of the Constitution, we must refer to the reason why they put such provisions. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, if we remove 143, impeachment will become a dime a dozen.
Impeachment procedures in those countries, I haven't seen a situation where a panel of 7 is constituted by the Chief Justice of a country who himself is an appointee of the person whose acts or omissions are called to question to dictate to Parliament. And this one has in it the capacity to ridicule this House, this Parliament to the high heaven.
Assuming the accuser is the legislature, just like we have, and then those who are to judge, just like my colleague presented here, that a panel will be raised from the House to meet with the Senate and judge the person who is being accused. At the end of the day, you are the accuser and you are the judge. That, I think, is very, very undemocratic.
As I understand it, is an attempt for the first time to actually return to this Parliament the powers of the Parliament to be able to hold the executive arm of government to account and to be responsible to the Nigerian people.
Now we'll stay within the National Assembly. In the last 2 years, the Assembly has had its fair share of ups and downs. Several probes were held, and the Executive and the Legislature disagreed on several issues, chiefly among them is the 2013 budget, as well as the failure of the Executive to implement some resolutions passed by the National Assembly. In continuation of our midterm review, correspondent Linda Ahigbe takes a look at the National Assembly in the last 2 years.
The 7th Assembly began with a leadership tussle in the House of Representatives. Against the calculations of the ruling People's Democratic Party, Representative Aminu Tambuwal and his deputy Emeka Ihedioha emerged as the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. While in the Senate, David Mark emerged the President of the Senate unanimously for the 3rd time, the longest in the nation's history. It's been 2 years of intrigues, controversies and flexing of muscles between the executive and the legislature.
We came with a specific set of goals that we must be able to achieve, and we're on the way to achieving those goals that we set for ourselves.
The past 2 years, federal lawmakers in both chambers conducted several high-profile investigations. Most memorable were investigations into the management of fuel subsidy, the BPE probe, the capital market probe, and the probe of pension administration, to name a few. After a public investigation into the management of fuel subsidy that was closely monitored by Nigerians, the House Committee presented a report that outlined endemic corruption, entrenched inefficiency, and a scheme which has been defrauding Nigerians for years. However, the credibility of the report was called to question following allegations of bribery against the chairman of the panel, Representative Farouk Lawan. The lawmaker was accused of receiving $620,000 from oil marketer Mr. Femi Otedola to clear his company of any wrongdoing in the fuel subsidy probe.
The truth will always prevail.
And that was not the only controversy in the National Assembly. The investigation into the collapse of the capital market saw the hunter become the hunted.
I should not be subjected to what you subjected me to because the SCC did not give you 5 million naira in cash on Tuesday, the 13th of March.
Strong issues of corruption have been made against the committee. So it is our hope that you will investigate me deeply and investigate the committee too.
In the aftermath of the investigation into the collapse of the capital market, the House of Representatives took a resolution calling on the executive to remove the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Ms. Aruma Ote. But the executive has refused to implement that resolution and several other key resolutions reached by the National Assembly. This has often strained the relationship between both arms of government. The strain is clearly seen in the face-off between the executive and the legislature over the 2013 budget.
This year, for the first time, the executive took their budget estimates on time. The National Assembly considered it and passed it.
Nevertheless, how has the National Assembly contributed to the development of the country in the last 2 years?
If you want to ask, in judging in terms of bills, I think we have not done very badly.
More than ever before, the 7th Assembly has exerted its independence and rejected any form of interference from the executive. Linda Ahigbe, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, Chairman Senate Committee on Works, Ayogu Eze, joins us to review the National Assembly in the last 2 years. Stay with us.
As Nigeria becomes the center of gravity and destination of choice for global investors, as we progress to break economic frontiers, MTN is proud to present world-renowned economic advisor, Dr. Ram Charan, to rub minds with Nigeria's top 100 business and industry leaders on the 6th and 7th of June in Abuja and Lagos. Theme, Private Sector as the engine room for economic growth. This event is strictly by invitation.
MTN, everywhere you go.
You look so happy today.
Yes, dear, because I'm in love. She's so smooth.
What are you talking about?
I brought her home. She's in the car.
Where is she? Where's the husband snatcher? You scared me.
The
Delight your loved ones with a plate of Honeywell Semolina today. Honeywell Semolina, a plate of delight.